بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Dear brothers and sisters, respected viewers and friends, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the series of sessions that we've been gathering, we've been talking together about Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha. We've come across her personality and then her, of course, moral merits. And then, of course, in regards to her personality, we're finding out, discovering more details of this very prominent figure in the history of Islam. So, as you know, in the society that Islam emerged in the time that Saudi Arabia, we cannot say Saudi Arabia, of course, we can say Arabic Peninsula, of course, the name of the time. It was a very kind of wild land in terms of course, lack of water, in terms of heat, in terms of environment. And then, as you know, environment would affect the people, and then people, communications, kind of interactions and cooperations, kind of socializations, let's say, was totally different from what now we can presume about Saudi Arabia today. It's completely changed, and one of the main criterion for that transformation in the identity of this part of the land was the emergence and appearance of Islam. And then if you, let's say, compare Islam back at those days and to today's life, you will find that women's role is completely changed. Of course, during the Islamic era and before that, of course. Women had not that much a special role in the society to play, and then they were completely marginalized, they were isolated, they did not have that much importance and significance in the society, and they did not have any vote, they did not have any position even to talk about themselves, to talk about different things of the life, to talk about, let's say, social, cultural, or political aspects of the life. Everything was totally different. Having imagined this situation, you will find it was not very simple, it was not very easy and common for a lady to talk in the public, let's say, arena for kind of public talk. And then it was not easy for women to present themselves. We had some extraordinary, exceptional figures like Lady Khadija Salamullah alayha, as a businesswoman who was very successful in her trade, in her economic life. And that kind of figure, that kind of position had a very good effect on her daughter, who is Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha. So to be brave enough, to be courage enough, to be very well trained and motivated enough to be able to talk to the people of the time, the people of the society, kind of society which is patriarchy. I mean, the gender, the masculine gender, or we can say a man, had dominance over the society. And then they were, of course, very prominent people of their time. So for Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha to present herself, it was not an easy task, but she was very successful in that. We have a very good sermon in the time that kind of her right, of course, right to a land which was called Fadak was usurped and was taken away from her, and then she was able to publicize it and then to even talk against the caliph of the time. So that kind of bravery, that kind of courage, that kind of motivation made her very exceptional, and then made her a kind of a symbol of free will and free talk and liberation of the idea that today we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about it more. So I was explaining this very fact about the personality of Lady Zahra Salamallah alayha. Today, women are pursuing their own position and their kind of equal right, equal share of the society, of the participation in the whole community of manhood, of mankind. They are following their, let's say, equal even payment for the equal job. These are the slogans of the feministic, let's say, approach that we have throughout the world and then across different countries. What I want to say is that Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha, however, she was a decent person. She was modest. She barely would go out of the house because her prime role was actually based and located in the house. So having all these situations in the lifestyle and in the framework and in the viewpoint of Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha, she was successful enough to play her political role also in the society, to be a voice for all women, as a representative for all women of her own time. So this is not something which we can maybe simply talk about it, but to play it, to apply it, and to maintain this approach is very hard. As I explained to you in the very first part, that the society was not, let's say, acceptance, or let's say the society was not very warm, welcoming to this kind of approach. I mean, accepting women's voices in the society. It did not have any point, it did not have any meaning for men of the time. But she was able to blame even the head of the society, let's say the representative and the successor to Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was the first caliph and then the second caliph and third caliph, and then other caliphs to come afterward. So the caliph of the time was of course, let's say, unreachable person, and not every single person was able even to talk, to address him. But Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha was not only addressing the caliph at the time, not only blaming and complaining about the unjust, let's say, way of governing the society, and then expressing and decoding the facts that would show Muslims this kind of governance is not what her father was satisfied with, but also even to let's say, outlaw some of the standard precepts of her own time. So these all show that Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha was very active politically. She was also active within the house and out of the house. In the previous sessions that I was talking about the personality of Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha, I was concentrating on those traits that would generally help women to have, let's say, a hold in the house. Okay, so this is very important. But then today I want to say that Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha was not just, let's say, one face. She had different charismatic traits, and then basically multiple, let's say, kind of figures that basically she was able to portray them as in the form of different roles. And then she was able to present herself also within the society, out of the house. To that very, let's say, first level of politics. She was complaining about the policymakers of her own time. And then this is something which is really unbearable of her own time, if we're thinking. So for those women who are like kind of political activists of their time, even Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha can be uswatun hasana, can be a real role model for them. But we should not mistake kind of political activism with kind of impoliteness, or let's say indecency. They are different. So sometimes we want to be active at any cost. That, well, this is not a condition for Lady Zahra Salamullah alayha. For her, or let's say her prime condition was to be decent enough. But later and secondarily, it was to shout her own voice. We have to keep this also in our mind for our present society. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. I hope that you will really take benefit of this series of discussions. And I'm really thankful for your patience. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of our 12th Imam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.